Hello, it's the middle of the week. 10:03. I'm a couple minutes late. How about that? And yeah, I've got these figures, the bridge figures for the Enterprise Command Bridge model, which is pretty much done, and it's over there under some paper towels, being protected from dust, waiting to find a box into which it will fit. Looking down at the floor, and I've got boxes scattered all over the floor to create a trip and fall hazard, I guess. Put them on threw them on the floor, scattered them on the floor so that they weren't on the shelves. But let's just say things are a mess up there. But here, these guys. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to. These figures have little details. It's kind of hard to see actually, but they have these little wiggly stripes there. You can see it better if it's on the camera. But on the edges of their sleeves here, there's little wiggly stripes. Sulu has 1, and Spock has 2, and Kirk has 3. So instead of little pips on their collars, they got little wiggly stripes on their sleeves. And on the box top, those are painted. Those are not painted. They're white. Okay, but I've decided, since these figures are just so bizarre, like Sulu's head is way too big for what passes as his body, and whoever this is, it's not Kirk. Doesn't look like Kirk. His head is too small. So whoever modeled these models, they had some sculptors doing their heads, and they all came out about the same size, with the same amount of excess detail. Like on Spock, just way too much detail. The people who did the bodies, they weren't in the same universe at all. So there's that. So I'm going to attempt with a little bitty brush and the head I left the head magnifiers upstairs. So I'm going to have to run upstairs and get the head magnifiers. I totally forgot about them until I remembered that I need them for the next things I'm going to be doing, is painting the stripes. I'm going to take these guys off of here because it's not going to help. I'm going to have to keep moving these around quite a lot to get to the stripes. And then stuff is sticking to the boots. Yuck. And then the badges. The badges are supposed to have an outline and then a little symbol on the center. And I'm going to, since I'm making these the evil ones, I'm going to paint the stripes red and attempt to do the outline of the badge. I don't know how that's going to go. That might turn out to be a disaster because it requires a painting skill I'm not too bad at the detail stuff, but that's going to require painting skill that's right at just past the edges of the limits of what I can do in terms of my eye-hand coordination. And then if I'm successful at that at all, I'm going to put a gray wash on the tunics so that they look a little bit less base-coated. I'm going to extend the gray wash onto their hands just to tone that down a little bit. And then I'm going to put some wash on their hair. And then if things are still going okay, I'm going to try to do something with their faces. So like with Spock, I'm going to paint the eyebrows in, maybe do something with the eyes, paint them see if I can get some white paint in there. That's gonna be really hard to do. I'll probably have to put the white paint in and then paint the flesh color back up to it because it'll need touching up. I'd like to make the lips a little darker, and then I'm going to paint a goatee. He's going to get a goatee because he's the evil Spock. Sulu, apparently in evil form, just had a big scar. So there's it's almost like it's put in here. I'm just going to paint this like a scar there and do something with these. This figure, the maybe Kirk, but probably not. Eyebrows. I'm going to give, even though that wasn't how it was on the show, he's going to get a goatee also, just to do it. That's what I'm going to try to do. I'm not sure how it's going to go. It very well may be that as I'm trying to paint the red stripes on here, it just gets everywhere and makes a mess. And I try to take it off and paint yellow back over it and then back and forth. And maybe I'll just, I don't know how it'll go. I really don't. Sometimes these detail things go pretty well. Sometimes they just don't because, I'm holding this and I'm painting the stripe and it's going okay. And then I turn it and do the other side and then stick my finger in it and put it up here on his neck, or that's like 90% done and I get to the end. And instead of, very carefully turning it, I just try to turn it and the brush slips and puts a big slash of red across. Yeah. I mean, these figures are not really critical parts of the model, but they came with the model, so why not? I'm going to have some fun with them. I decided to use kind of a orangish red for the red. Just, they're evil and they want red, but they didn't quite get the color right. They just couldn't get it quite right. So it's kind of an orangey red. What I should do is I should just say, yeah, this is as good as they're going to get and paint the boots and move on. But no, I'm going to try to do that. Okay. As I told you moments ago, I forgot to bring my head magnifier down, and I can't do this without it. I might not be able to do it with it. I might not be able to do this even with the head magnifier and bracing and all this, that, and the other thing. But I know it's like 100% chance that I can't do it without the head magnifier. So I'm going to get that, and that will improve my odds to a higher number than 0. Okay. So I'm just going to let this sit here like that. And you can look at them and imagine them looking better than that. And I'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Okay, I'm back in the room here. There's the head magnifier things without the lens. The lens is in this box. Pretty filthy. What I'm doing off screen here is cleaning the lenses of the magnifier. They're sort of cleaner than they were. Okay. I've only used up 20 minutes. I've mentioned this before. There was a time, oh, must have been like 6, 8 months ago, maybe longer, where I was able to start at 10 and not do anything for a half hour. I could go on just wasting time somehow. I don't even remember what I would do. I would talk about something or move things around or just somehow waste a huge amount of time not actually working on these things. And over the last 6 to 8 months, I've lost that skill. I'm ending up starting to do stuff like 10 minutes, 15 minutes into the stream. Today it's about 20 minutes into the stream. But part of that was because I had to retrieve the head magnifier things. See how this goes. Sometimes I've been really successful at these tiny little detail things. And sometimes just absolutely not. So dependent upon just how steady my hand is at the moment. This is called amaranth red, I guess because it supposedly looks amaranthy. Well, one of you know how it is. You can't finish unless you get started. There's another cliche that every journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and that kind of thing. That one's supposed to make you feel like, okay, this is going to be a drudge and trudge that'll probably take the rest of your life, but you have to get just, not get discouraged because you're only stepping once. There's a little LED light on it that really makes a huge difference. Well, this color is just going to really clash with Spock's tunic. That's good. Clashing with Spock's tunic that's going to be a good effect. Great. So either have too much paint on the brush or not enough. but just like much of this model, it's not well done. And these just kind of, oh, well, that's why they disappeared around the side here, because that's where the theme needed to be sanded out. Yeah, I'm probably going to, is this even on camera? Okay. Probably going to be pretty quiet during this because I need to just really focus on what I'm doing here. And it's hard to carry on a monologue about 1960s television when painting little orangish red squiggly striped things. I don't remember this being a thing in the Star Trek, what is now known as the original series, and to me was simply known as Star Trek. These sleeve stripes. I know later on, and there were pips on the collar. Sleeve stripes. They're not very good stripes, but maybe I'd have to go back and watch. See if they really were there. Yeah, this orangish red this is fine. This is a good evil bridge crew color. A little bit. I'm going to have to probably wash the brush when you're doing little bits of paint like this. The paint will kind of dry on the tip of the brush, and then it doesn't come off the brush. It's not too bad. I mean, it gives the impression of wiggly stripes on the sleeves. I mean, they're painted about as well as they're molded. Okay, I'm going to try this. I don't know if this will go okay or not. Just along the edge of the badge here. At a distance, it's not going to look too bad. I'm going to declare that, adequate. There. Let's do Sulu next. Only got one arm showing. Yeah, these are painted them where they're molded. Evil Stripes sewers are really not very good at their job. It slipped in my hand. I can get that off. Yeah, okay. Sometimes if you get the paint right away, it's possible to wipe it off. It's supposed to be something in their badge. I'm just going to put like a little slash maybe. dot or something. So now they've got evil reddish stripes and outlines on their badges. That's how you can tell they're bad. Kirk's got a lot of stripes. This could be a while here. And not Kirk, the captain figure, the one who gets to sit in the chair. The chair's sitting, not Kirk. It's supposed to be 3 stripes, but it's just it's not there. All I can do is paint what I see here, and see are 2 sets of zigzaggies. I guess they all get 2 stripes. Sure what this is about, but they're there, presenting a serious painting challenge that I have decided to take up. Because the stripes that are molded on vary widely in width. They're not in parallel with each other. They're just zigzaggies. It is what it is. Yeah, these are nicely, under the arm here. Come on. I am really annoyed at people who made this. I think they asked. These aren't even ziggy-zaggy. These are just just lumps. There's just lumps on the sleeve. Didn't really do much with that. Just did the best I could with what I was presented with, which was not good at all. Oh, there they are. They're eviled up here. Fox came out the best. His stripes were molded on pretty well. Sue is not too bad, but Kirk's stripes were really badly done, which is a little bit surprising because the arms on that one were actually molded separately from the body. There they are. There they've got evil red stripes and evil red outlines on their badges. To clean the brush and stretch a little bit here. I got way hunched over trying to get those little things on, those little stripies. There. Can't even push the off button. Oh, today is being a day, isn't it? Okay, the next step in this, how did that? Okay, this is really weird. I got red paint there on the pants. I don't know how I did that. How did I not get? Did really sound? Did I not turn that far enough? Look, I missed the whole inside of the arm here. This is the only part of the. This is the only part of the whole thing in which the zigzaggy stripes are actually molded clearly enough to see. Somehow I got a little dot of paint on its pants. I don't know how I did that. Well, it'll do. That'll do. Now I can stretch my leg where my foot fell asleep. The next step is to get the gray wash out and put gray wash on the tunics. Do that to tone down the color a little bit and to give a little bit of depth to the wrinkles, the massive wrinkleness of their tunics. This won't be too hard to do. So I'm going to put the gray wash on the hands as well. And it's up against black on the collar and the pants where it's not going to show. It should be it shouldn't be too terribly strenuously challenging. There isn't very much pigment in this at all. Then I need to fix Not Kirk's pants. Okay. Well, I actually thought ahead just momentarily. I need to put them back on these things because the wash goes on the fronts and the backs. Okay. And they have to be on here. Otherwise, I can't do it. Okay. I mean, I can't just do like the front and then the back. This wash actually takes a fair amount of time to dry. It doesn't dry as quickly as the other paints. I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. I don't know if this is going to work or not. Spock over. So if I do the back, is there enough? Yeah, why not? There we go. This is kind of weird looking, but it might work if that stays held there. It'll work or not. Find out. This is supposed to make it look like not quite so flat. Little artist would be doing like 3 or 4 layers. You would do it in the prime, then they do the base layer, and then they would have done a dark on top of that. And then they would have done highlights and then more highlights. But I'm not a real artist. I'm not terribly good at painting. I mean, I can paint, like, stay within the lines. I can paint little squiggly red stripes and stuff. But when it comes to doing artistic things, to make things look lifelike or lively or something, I just am not capable. I want this to puddle up in the recesses. It dries, it doesn't look quite as dark. Sometimes I need to do like 2 or 3 coats in order to get any kind of build up at all. Yeah, this is the kind of painting I like. Spread it around, just blah, 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 blah. Compared to painting little orangish red stripes and stuff, this is actually kind of relaxing. Ooh, that was way too much. Not enough to way too much. Get another brush and pull that off. I should be using this brush anyway to do that. Pigment settles in this really quickly. So I stirred it up with the brush tip. Is there a line there? Let me see. Okay, that was a mess. There's kind of a fine line between shading and just making it look dirty, and I am not good at finding that line. Let's see what it looks like when it dries. There's that. Now we got this weird duo here. That's an interesting sound that you can't hear. I mean, you can't hear this pop filter, just filters out anything that isn't a voice or what it thinks is a voice. Weird rumbling sound coming from ears. I hope it's intentional. It's really kind of maybe someone's just vacuuming, and that's what it sounds like when it comes through the floor. Well, this looks a lot better with the wash on it. It'll stop being shiny. That'll be a good thing. Do this one. Changes the color. I like what it does to the yellow. It really tones it down well. That's just getting stripy. That's just not good. I don't like that. Yeah, we'll see what this looks like when it dries. I guess I can leave them on camera here for the moment. So what's going to happen next with the wash is I'm going to put some wash, really dark wash on the hair, Sulu's and Spock's hair. And since they're, standing up here nicely, not falling over yet, go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to put some brown on the Not Kirk's hair. This is the same as this, except it just has more pigment in it. I'm using a finer brush. Whoa, that's way too much. As you can see, there's a lot of pigment in it, and it splashed all over the place. Do Sulu first, because I want to keep it off the face. I just want it on the hair. Brushing it across the hair, not with it, because I want it to go into the crevices and not so much into the high points. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but that's what I'm trying to do. Accomplished exactly what I was trying to do, but it looks better than it did. It's enough wash there to wash like 25 of these things. It's working better on Spock where the molding is deeper. Okay, well, there's Spock's hair, and there's like a million times more of this than I needed to squeeze out. Do Kirk's hair, not Kirk's hair. And for that, I'm going to use this kind of reddish brown stuff. This is the same stuff that I use on the wooden, the things that are supposed to look like wooden dungeon tiles. Let's see if I can squeeze out just a tiny drop of this like I was trying to before. Yeah, just that. That's all I want. Don't want this to go on very heavily. It's pretty heavily pigmented. See if I can get it to successfully highlight his DA here. That's what it is. I need to do their faces. Do their eyes first. I'm going to put ivory. I sometimes, white, the stark white just doesn't look good. And the ivory always looks better for teeth and eyes. So what I'm going to try to do is get little dots of ivory paint into their eyeball areas there. So you can see the whites of their eyes. And then I probably need to paint that. I'll probably need to touch that up with the flesh colored paint again, almost certainly. Do something to make their lips a little darker. Sorry, just gritty in my eyes here. Look at these flesh tones. Try this on their lips just to see what happens. And then, if this doesn't work with the eyes and the lips, I can always just repaint it with the flesh tone, I guess. Whites. There's your metallics up there. Up there with the reds. Of course, that would make sense, wouldn't it? No, it makes no sense, but there it is. Okay, so I'm going to try to paint the whites of their eyes and darken their lips a little bit. If it messes up, I'll just wait for it to dry and then paint over it. Cover doesn't work. There. I've got some extra ones somewhere. Here they are. It's better. Guess I'll do their eyes first. This is the part that's most messed up. And then I'll do their lips, and then I'll come back with the flesh tone and do touch up. Because there's what I've discovered is there's no way. Yuck. There's just no way to get the eyes small enough. I mean, no matter what. And then like they get too big, and then they have to bring the flesh tone and push it back down. And then I'll do the eyebrows after that, and hopefully those will go on successfully. They really should have whites in their eyes, right? It just gets too big. But it's possible then to come back with the flesh tone and make them smaller. They got big white bulgy eyes. Not terrible, but yeah, it just needs fixing up. They're pretty spooky eyes. I should just leave them like that. Okay, Kirk's gonna come. You know, it almost is. It's almost just tempting to leave them like that. Joking about it, but maybe I shouldn't joke about it. Maybe I should just leave them like that. Wash. Yeah, the wash worked okay. This looks sort of scabby, but so it is. Yeah, Sue's eyes. Those are really good, piercing, evil eyes, aren't they? to try and do some flesh tone touch up, and then try to do eyebrows and see how that goes. So Spock, sorry about this. Spock is supposed to get a goatee, and so he will. Okay, I'm taking this Kirk figure off. Kirk figure, I'll play with that later. Let's put it in this box here. Oh, everything's off camera, isn't it? Here. Okay, I'm going to do I'll do lips. I want to see how that turns out. I'm going to use a slightly darker flesh tone and just paint their lips to see if it works. I don't know. People's lips in general, I think, are darker than the rest of their face. I'm not sure. We'll see if it looks okay, if it just looks stupid. If it looks stupid, then I'll just, when I do the flesh tone touch up, I'll just get rid of it. You never know. The paint's we'll see. That actually kind of looks okay. I don't know what it looks like without the head magnifier. We can find out in a little while. I'm really surprised that Nimoy let them get away with his face looking like this. This is like old, grumpy Spock. Spock never looked like this. I don't know what the Not Kirk is smirking about. Okay, well, see what happens is that their lips are darker now, and it's okay. What do I do about Sulu's scars? You know, there's one big scar here. I'm going to give him a little scar here. And I wonder, what, where should I paint those? Well, I want them to be dark enough to be seen, but not so dark that they look weird. I've got another flesh tone color that I think maybe I'll just use that. It's kind of a dark one. Hopefully, it'll be dark enough to show, be to be seen. I don't know. If not, then maybe I'll have to use some sort of brown. Paint their eyebrows next. Before I do the flesh tone touch up, just in case I have to do that. Might be a little bit of back and forth kind of thing going on there. That might happen. I'm making a clutter here. Thing to have is a clutter. Got too big, and it'll take a little dash of. I can get that right. Okay, where's that? Let's do Spock here. Won't go well at all. Awful. Okay, I'm going to attempt to go tee him. It's not too bad, but it's not. I'm just having trouble with the paint behaving here. too far out on the sides. Get the flesh color paint and paint that back. I mean, it's not awful, but maybe it is okay. I'm not sure. The bottom of the chin here is a little uneven. Yeah. Okay. Stop messing with that. I need to fix his lips a little bit. Not much. Excuse me. What to do with Sulu's scar? I'm going to try this. I am going to try this color. Hi, Haman. How you doing? Look what I did to Spock. I know. That's how you can tell. I don't know why goatees became evil. I mean, but it's just like nobody who is just, everybody who's evil had a goatee and anybody who wasn't didn't. Don't, I don't fully understand that. So Sulu didn't have a goatee, but Sulu had scars. So I'm going to try to use this darker color. I'm not sure it's going to be dark enough to show. And I'm going to give him two big scars, like just outrageously obvious, and see how that looks. Like I said, I don't know if this is going to be adequate. No, I don't think that's going to show. That is not the way I want it to. I'm going to have to use like a gray color or something. That got out of hand. That got out of control. This isn't really a very good color. No, the scar needs to be much darker. I'm going to try. I'm actually going to use just a brown, maybe. I mean, you can kind of see it, but. And then this one just became a mess. See if I can fix Spock's lips here. There. I actually think that looks okay. Yeah. It's definitely evil Spock. Okay. I need to do something similar to Kirk here. Yeah, I'm going to come back with a different color for the scar. Maybe kind of a reddish brown. Do I have? I'm going to take a little bit of a break here. Yeah, it goes way back. Ming the Merciless had a really good goatee. I mean, that was good goateeing. Black red. That would definitely be scarish. I'll tell you that. Beastie brown isn't too bad. I'm not sure that's much different than the red brown I'm using for Kirk's hair. Since I'm going to have that out anyway for Kirk's hair, and I'm going to give Kirk a Lincoln beard, I think. See how that looks. I keep calling it Kirk. It's not Kirk. It's some sort of interloper thing. I don't know what. I think the Spock came out pretty well, though. I have to give him eyeballs. Give them all eyeballs yet. Oh, I bet they were. They were a reference to Ming the Merciless. I need to nut Kirk's eyebrows and some sort of beard thing and see how that looks. And then repaint Sulu's scar. Yeah, it's just, it's just too subtle. The scar is just too subtle. Now I'm going to start painting a beard and see what happens. He doesn't have much of a chin. This is a character that's uses a beard to hide a weak chin, I think. What do you think? Does that look like? You did your okay. How did that go? What does that look as an evil beard? Did he add the mustache? Do you think? Okay, well, the brush slipped and that made a mess. Looks better coming down a little further. I think that looks pretty evil. Ah. Oh, the cat died of. Oh, that's sad. Are there ghosts? I think what I'm going to do. This is just a thought. It's just a little bit there. Yeah, I didn't get it quite symmetric. That's it, though. Little lip touch up there. That's the evil beard. Now I nailed evil, not Kirk beard. Will it not focus? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No, I just need to do some flesh tone touch up on these guys. Oh, yeah. I needed to do. Sulu's scar. This is too dark. This is too dark for the scar, and what's on there is too light. I'm going to try something else. Oh, but they're really tall. That's pretty fun. Um, hmm. The color here. There it is. I'm going to try this. That's not it. That's silver. It's gray. I'm looking for gray. There it is. That's not it either. There it is. Yeah. What was the third or fourth time? I'll give this a go to see if this will turn into a Sulu scar. Ah, yeah. All of these paints are just jumping out of their little bottles at me. It'll at least be obvious. Let's see how that turns out after I do the flesh tone touch up. Okay. I've got all sorts of paint out here now. Oh, okay. That's interesting. And so they had to be taller than that. So then what happened? I just really the air changed. It's fall, and I think there's like leaf mold out there or something. Whatever it is, it's really irritating. Very irritating. Reaching over here and putting paints away. What I should do is show this to you sometime. Show off the I need to fix lips, don't I? Kirk's lips. Just a little bit of lip fixing, maybe. Let me check. Excuse me. Fix Spock's lips. Just a tiny bit. Better. Oh, okay. So how did you know that the house cat was magical? Just curious about that. These guys anymore. This. I'm putting paint away. This one I need. Need the orange. Okay. Oh yeah, the magic. Okay. Yeah, of course, magical beasts, right? Right. It's going on to noon. Okay. Well, I might end up finishing a little early today if these figures go okay. I need to do some touching up with the flesh tone. There's some spots that just are spotted. While I'm waiting for their faces to dry enough to do some flesh tone touch up, I'm going to fix Kirk's pants. I grabbed the wrong paint. It's the boot color. I managed to get a tiny dot of this orangey reddish paint on his pants, and this got like scraped off. I'll do a quick little touch up here and out spot there. Spot there. Might as well look at the rest, everybody else's pants to make sure that they're okay. Spot on spots here. This is where I hope I made sure I got the right black, because if I put the glossy black on, that would be bad. Why would Matilda not like the cats? Just like, would Matilda not like cats in general, or just magical cats? Okay, I'm going to do the flesh tone touch up here. Okay. Well, that certainly makes sense that there would be an aversion to cats. So I have to say, if I had a familiar, and I don't, but if I had one, I would have a raven for a familiar. I think that they are just amazing creatures. Definitely be that. My brother would have a puma, a mountain lion, which is also a really cool, would also be a really cool familiar. But I would go for a raven. Oh, no. So she had a cat attached to her hand? That sounds terrible. What do you do with a magic attached cat? I can't even imagine. I mean, you have to have a magic cat removal. What? How did that happen? put that paint away too. Wow. I mean, the paint got rubbed off of Spock's arm. Well, another thing I have to do. One more thing is fixing Spock's arm. Fortunately, I'll need to get the gray wash out again. I can fix that, but still, the scar's okay. Actually, I kind of like the way this turned out. I'm just going to leave that. So the next thing I need to do is fix Spock's arm. Look, the paint can't. This is weird. The paint is like rubbing off of some of these things. I don't understand that. Okay. Well, it all makes sense now. You know, about the reaction to the cat. Well, I'm gonna let that rest before I put their eyeballs on them and use a felt tip pen and just put black dots on for their eyeballs, for their pupils and irises. But the it's just really odd how this happened on the arm. These were primed too. I don't understand how. Okay. So there's two things that need to be done yet. One is that I need to put eyeballs on with a felt tip pen. I'm just going to. Yeah, I can understand that. I've had cats off and on. One of them was just a real jerk. I mean, I really loved that cat. He was just, he would come up and swat the other cats and jump on things and just, I mean, really was kind of a jerk, but it was also just really affectionate and a lot of fun. So I'm going to put eyeballs on and then put this gray wash that I used on the tunics. I'm going to put that on their faces just real lightly, to give it a little bit of depth. So we got these tiny micron pens that, if I'm really careful, leave little black dots. And I've used this with some success if my aim is right. If not, then it makes a big mess because I can't paint over it. So I'm going to take a chance and use these rather than attempting to use paint. And to make it look like Kirk is, so not Kirk is looking down. Bad. Okay, well, there they are with eyeballs now. And then, like I said, I'm going to put some gray wash on their face, just a light covering of it, just to tone down the flesh tone a little bit. I used it on their hands, and you can see, yeah, it kind of worked. And Spock's thing is still not covered. Okay, I'm going to stretch a little bit here and take these head magnifiers off. I don't need those. Those for the wash. Put them aside. Yeah, they got real spooky eyes. Spooky eyes, especially Spock's got really spooky eyes. Kirk's got. No, that's fine. They can have spooky eyes because they're evil. Put some. I'm gonna put some paint away. I'll be able to find it again later then. Like this gray paint. I don't remember where I got it. Yeah, it was just here, out in the middle of nowhere. Oh yeah, next to the blacks. This is pants black. This is boot black. This is eyeball color. I'm done with that. I might keep this out. This is Spock's tunic color. This is the flesh color. This is this I don't need anymore. These two I don't need, but I have to go way over there. Why? Okay, so tell me what you do with a watering can when you're facing animated armor. Oh no, did you rust it? Did you rust the animated armor? So what did she do? Okay. So the water in the watering can became something a little bit more uh, effective. Okay, that's pretty cool. I like that. So is that what you did? You froze them? Oh, turned it into a little mini armor, huh? That was a pretty creative response to your situation. Your party survived the encounter all right, though. Okay, well, what we have here now, what we have here is the evil bridge crew. And what did? Look at that! I touched that up. I fixed that. What the heck? Like paint is not sticking to its surfaces anymore. Weird, just weird effects. Okay, I'm going to let that dry. And then the last thing I need to do, and I'll be holding them up here, is I need to paint their boots. And I can't paint their boots in the sticky tack thing because that's where the boots are. So I'll be holding them and hopefully not messing them up too much. Yeah, these are definitely evil. I think the goatee came out okay. I like what I did with Not Kirk's beard. That's a pretty evil Not Kirk beard. Okay. Did the enemies then just sort of give up? Did they just leave, or were you able to vanquish them? Okay. This is glossy black. The boots are going to be glossy. They're shiny boots. Oh, okay. So eventually you did that. Did you destroy the magical cats too? Oh, there were only two of you? Okay. Yeah, it's more fun with three. I really think three is a good sized party. Um, 4 is good. Once you get past, get into a big 5, 6 party, then it's hard for every player to just like play a role, to just hold their role really well. But I'm glad you had a chance to do that. I'm glad it went well. Okay. Not sure really where to hold them. Look at that. Getting getting little spots where there shouldn't be. Our dog. What in the heck? I'm just going to keep this brush out. We're doing black pants touch up. Okay, boots. Here we go. We're doing boots. But once in a while, somebody walks their dog past the front of our house. Now what? Now what do I do with this? His boots are painted. I can't put it in the sticky tack. Okay, this is what I'm going to try to do. Show this to you later. I'm going to lay it across the edge of this box like that. Hope I don't bang into it and knock it down. That's the wrong paint. Yeah, this guy, you guys, I'm gonna have to just come back and do touch up with the other black. There's just it's just developing spots. That paint, this didn't get mixed well. Hopefully it'll be adequate, but the pigment isn't mixed well with the solvent on the glossy black here. Find out later how it ended up. Okay. Hang this one over the edge too. Yeah, this is what I'm doing. Is I'm suspending them on the corners of the box so that their feet are out. That's not an issue with the Not Kirk figure because it's supposedly sitting and its feet are sticking up in the air. So that's not a problem. It sounds like it was a pretty fun session. Okay, that's going to be handy. Good old ghost exorcisms. It would have been helpful to have that at the beginning of this encounter. But you're very likely to run into more ghosts, so that's going to be helpful. Okay, there. Going to move the camera over. And you can see, I'm going to leave it there at that weird angle. Those are these are evil Sulu and evil Spock with their boots drying, because he has to dry, and that's the only way I could think of right off to get that to happen. Nice. So this was a one shot. Are you going to play like a follow up, or is this a campaign that you're doing? I'm on. Oh, okay. That's a that's really good. That's Your DM is really good at adapting to the circumstances. Then you play. Is your regular Monday game coming up? Is that coming up next week Monday, or is it every other week? And so it's 2 weeks from Monday, or last Monday, or a week from Monday. I lost track of which week is which. Time and space have become muddled. I never capped that up. Yeah, it's every other. Okay, yeah, I know it's every 2 weeks. I was just wondering. So yeah, you'll get to play this coming Monday. That's really cool. Okay, so you can see the boots are shiny. I can't move this. If I move this, they're going to fall off, and I don't want them to fall off until the shiny boot paint is dry, which is going to be like in 15 minutes or something, which kind of limits what I can do here. Yeah. So maybe what I'll try to do is I don't know what to do. I'm kind of at a loss for game content. Yeah, the DM had to go on the family vacation. Oh, I see. That you were trying to have an extra game session, but it didn't. So you'll come back next Monday. That campaign seems to be going pretty well so far. The character development is good. That's the one where one of the players, switched characters, right? And hopefully that's going well. But yeah, so these guys are the evil crew. They're the evil bridge crew. You can tell because Spock has a goatee and Sulu has scars and not Kirk has an evil beard, which didn't really happen. Okay, so you've got some sort of relic, but you don't know what it does. So do you have a place you can go to identify it, or are you just going to try to use it and see what it does? Having mysterious objects is always kind of interesting in a game because you don't they do something, but you don't know what. And if you just randomly mess with it, you could end up having things go badly. So there's this thing of I want to be adventurous and experiment, but I also don't want to like do a TPK, Depends on your DM, I suppose, too, whether your DM would do something like that. You have just acquired a booby trap and you don't know it. Well, the boots are staying shiny. That's good. The last things I just need to look at, them to see if there's any places where the paint has come off, like in the pants where it's been happening. But the last thing that needs to be done is that these two figures need to be attached to the bases. And I need to wait for the boot paint to dry before I can do that. And I don't know how long that's going to take. It's going to take more than just a couple of minutes. It's hard to tell with the glossy paint, because when you put a flat paint on, it's got a gloss to it, and as it dries, it flattens out. With glossy paint, it just stays glossy. And the only way to tell really is to maybe touch it, which is a really bad idea with glossy paint. It's a bad idea with it's a bad idea to stick your finger in any wet paint, like I do with some regularity, which I did on Monday twice. I just say that's from a an okay and adequate modeler. Even I know that sticking one's finger in the wet paint and then touching other painted surfaces is a bad idea. I can recommend that to anybody out there at any stage level of skill to yeah, it's usually this finger, the little finger here, because I don't know if you noticed when I'm holding things, I frequently use this little finger to brace them, to hold them still. But because I'm using it to like brace them, to hold them still, it's also the most likely, if it gets paint on it, to touch another surface. And that's the most common one. Sometimes I've had paint jump onto my hand across large distances. That's the only way I can explain it. It's like I look down and I've got paint on this finger, and this finger wasn't anywhere near any painted surface. But there it is. It's got paint on it. I don't know. It's very odd. You should look at some of the old YouTubes and see if you can see the paint jumping. Yeah. So these guys, their boots are drying. That's all I can say. And I don't know when they're going to be dry. Usually by now it is. It usually dries in like 10 minutes, but it's it's just really tempting here. I'm tempted. I'm just going to do this. I mean, what could go wrong? What could possibly happen that would be bad? Is I'm going to put these on with contact cement. And if they're standing on here, the bottoms of their boots are what's on there. So why not? Why not do this? I've got like 20 minutes left. I'll probably finish a little bit early because I'm running out of things to do. And I'm not going to pull dungeon tiles out today, I don't think. These are multiply used toothpicks. So I'm going to take this contact cement. This time I remember to shake well. And I'm going to put some on the bottom of the boots. Hopefully, not messing up anything else while I'm doing that. And then stick them on the stand. And hopefully they'll stick and stand up. And if they do, then I don't need to have this box in the way anymore. This fresh stuff is so much better than the old can. So what I'm doing here is not the way it's designed to be used, but I found that it actually works. This is designed, you can't see what I'm doing. I just got off camera completely. This is designed to sit on the surface and dry until the gloss goes away. Did I just spill that? Ugh, what a mess. But I've discovered that it also it adheres really well. So if I stick this onto a surface while it's still wet, it grabs hold. Just does. It works. And I use that effectively with the railings and a couple of other things. See what it did? It just stuck. Do that with Spock too. Of course, I've got it on my finger now. Okay. It's on my index finger, my right index finger. It's all gooey there. Technical term for having contact cement on it. I want to not use that finger or thumb. This. Yeah. Yeah, now I can move this box out of the way. I'm going to throw it on the floor as another tripping hazard with all the other boxes that are down there. Now all you can see is now it's all off camera again. All you can see is the tops of their heads. Yay. Whereas before you could actually see them, but now you can't because that's how they're set up. Clean up the cement that spilled. All right then. I'm done. When there's nothing more to be done with the Enterprise command bridge. So I guess on Friday, what I will do is I'll bring it back out again. Bring it back out again and set it up here, down here where the camera is showing stuff. Okay, set it up here and put these figures on it. The not Kirk doesn't sit well in the chair. It just doesn't work very well. And we'll look at it for a bit and go, oh, now it's done. Now what do I do? Because that's the question, is what I don't have a place to put it. It needs to go into a box somewhere, and I don't. Maybe something will get delivered between now and and Friday, and I'll have a box. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just stick it over there and keep it under paper towels for a while. But yeah, I'm done, and so I'm going to show it off on Friday, and then what needs to be done is I need to bring the Lotus Ford, the 1965 Indianapolis winner, poorly made Lotus Ford model. And I say poorly made because it was actually the 1964 winner that was slightly modified by the model maker to look more or less like the 1965 car. They did a couple of things to it that actually made it possible to do that I'll point out to you. Some modifications that I made and some modifications they made. But the main task is to get the sponsorship decals onto the sides of the model. And the last time I did that, it was just a total disaster. And I'm hoping to avoid that this time by going through a very tedious process of cutting out each teensy, like this big. Seriously, like this, the decals are like that big, like an eighth of an inch on a side sometimes, and figuring out how to apply them individually, because that's how they're put on the sheet. But I'll talk about that on Friday. I'll talk about that a lot, because the more I talk about it, I won't have to do it. And I'm a little bit anxious about it. If it messes up, I bought 2 sets of decals, aftermarket decals, because I messed up the first one. So I thought, well, having an extra set of decals is not a big deal compared to not having any at all. So I've got an extra set in case things get really messed up. Hopefully, through the combination of 2 complete sets and 1 half set, which is the leftovers from the first decal set, I can finish it. The decals have to go on, and there's quite a few parts that then still need to be attached. But I didn't want to attach them until the decals are on, because attaching them will get in the way of the application of the decals. And if that doesn't make sense, come back on Friday and you'll see the model and you'll know then what I'm talking about. Maybe, I'll be talking about it anyway. Yeah, it's like 1:45. These are done. This is the last bit that needed to go on to the model. You can see the Knotkirk has an evil beard. Okay, the Spock has a goatee that I think came out okay, and the Sulu has scars marring his face. I think those came out okay too. So yeah, they're done as much as I can do them. They're still kind of cartoonish. They're not shaded terribly well, but it's fitting. It fits along with the cover art, which is not very good. Aman, thanks for joining in. I'm glad that your one shot went well, and I hope to see you again on Friday. And we'll be showing this off one last time before I put it over there and try to figure out how to permanently store it out of the way somewhere. And going back to a car, the Lotus Ford model of the car that won the Indianapolis 500 in 1965. Thanks, everybody who joined in. Thanks, everybody who is watching this on YouTube. Thanks to all the followers, all the subscribers, all the people who go to patreon.com/DysonDungeons and become patrons. And most importantly, check out our Dungeons and Dragons show. Okay, go to DysonDungeons.com, whatever it is on YouTube, which shows up here under me. the social media things show up under me, go to them and check out our website and watch some episodes, listen to them as a podcast, have fun with it, because we really think it's a very good, entertaining show and you should enjoy it. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you on Friday. Take care.